Ryan,
How's it going?
good buddy.
Good to see you, Mike.
All good. You're all connected and all that. It's just you
What?
and me so far. It's like the most beautiful day of the year
I know.
throughout California.
It's gorgeous out. We've got the flowers in bloom. It's beautiful. We'll have half an hour or so in here and then get back out to it, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm all good locking up with your wine right now inside. All good.
Awesome.
What? A little heavy pour for a Saturday afternoon at 3?
Hey, you only want to do it once, right?
That's right. It's showing nice. I opened it up about an hour ago. It's showing really nice so far. So I just think we'll wait a minute and then get started. How you doing though? Otherwise good?
Yeah, we've been busy at the winery, just finishing up blending here for our 2020s now. So it's been.
You're on it.
Yeah, we'll be bottling some of the wines right before harvest. So, goal is to get them together as soon as possible. Let the wines age as long as possible in barrels, so that when we go put them in bottle, they've had some time together and get a little head start on aging. So
Right. That's great. I mean, we were talking to somebody yesterday up your way, and they were talking about coming off blending too. And we were the few Central Coast winemakers, and they're like, we're not even near. Getting close.
it's interesting, there's so many different philosophies on that. Some people like to keep lots separate for as long as possible, watch their evolution and then put them together at the end right before bottling. I kind of take a different approach. I don't think either one's right or wrong, but putting them together, giving them the opportunity to age as long as possible and be as one. Also, you know what you're getting into, right before bottling, the wine is what it is by that time. And so you really understand that wine at that point. Whereas, sometimes when you put blends together, it tastes one way one day, the next day it morphs a little bit as it's had some time. So.
Yeah. Nice. Well, cool. We got some folks joining, but I think we just get started and just reintroduce you. And for folks that don't know, obviously this is Ryan Pritchard. I'm Mike Dawson with World of Pinot Noir. I'm just the lone announcer here. Ryan's the star today. But obviously, World of Pinot Noir, we couldn't do it the weekend in Bacara, the first weekend of March this year. For some reason, I can't figure out what that reason was. So we decided to, because we're gluttons for punishment and because we love World of Pinot Noir so much, we decided to extend the World of Pinot Noir all month. We're actually talking about doing a few things throughout the year as in our run-up to hopefully 2022 being in person, but still doing some online stuff. And this has allowed us to meet with a lot more people. It's allowed us to get, it's sometimes hard to get some group of people together in one room, despite the fact of how beautiful Santa Barbara is and the Bacara Resort is during March. It's somewhat difficult. And this has allowed us to do things like this, like that we're doing today with 3 Sticks and winemaker here, Ryan Pritchard. Ryan, so you and I met right when, shortly after Bob came on, you came on, right? So
Yep.
It was right around that time. I did a tasting at the Adobe there. Such a rad experience, and met Bill, and, it was a really kind of a time, we'll talk about 3 Sticks. We'll talk about this awesome wine that raises money for a great cause. But I just want to back up and say, that was a time where, Bill Price had the vision of what Sonoma County was going to be, really planting his flag in the future of Pinot Noir. And, he ruffled some feathers at first, but I think that he was the one that had the vision, and it's just been so great to see how 3 Sticks has sort of been that, point of the spear of that whole Sonoma County effort. So really exciting.
Absolutely. I think one of the hallmarks of, and one of the reasons I really was excited to join was Bill's sort of nod to history and to preserving history and to promoting it. He purchased the Durrell Ranch from Ed Durrell back in '97. That was kind of the beginning of Three Sticks, and with the goal of this great vineyard. Ed was looking to move on, and he said, we need to preserve this. We need to keep this going. The wines that are coming off of this vineyard are spectacular. So let's do that. And then, the winery sort of shortly followed there. But you really approached it first from the vineyard side of things.
Right.
And then over the years, has Gap's Crown Vineyard, another great vineyard over on the other side of the hills there. And we've developed our own vineyards, One Sky Vineyard, which is the Cuvée Eva Marie that we'll be talking about today a little bit. And then we have 2 vineyards out in the Green Valley of Russian River. So we've got our Alana Vineyard, we've got William James Vineyard, and then one all but the Sonoma Coast. So, we're doing all estate fruit for our wines. And then, like you had said, the adobe is another sort of historical piece that is really a cool piece of California history right there in the Sonoma Square, where you get to you wouldn't even know that it's a tasting room. It's really it's a residence that we've kind of kept it like that, so that we want people to come into our home and taste wines in that kind of setting, where you sit down, you talk, you share stories, and enjoy the wine. So I think it's a really cool. You go in there. I always learn something new about California history, or the second oldest residence in Sonoma. So it's a really cool spot to enjoy wine and to enjoy wine country.
Yeah, you always sort of hear that sometimes, like, oh, we're the stewards of the land, or we're the stewards of this region, or Bill and your team and yourself, like, you guys are really steeped in promoting what the Sonoma history is. And just going back to what I was saying before is that, I think Bill's vision and your vision and Bob's vision of what Sonoma, like, really making it, the forefront of cool climate Pinot Noir. And that's just been, again, it's been super exciting to see you guys, and I see Head High Wines just joined.
Yes.
Yeah. What's up, man? I think when I was at that tasting at the Adobe, I was with those guys too. So it's good to see everybody on here. But yeah, let's talk about this wine. I don't know if anyone else has got a chance to get. I'm calling it Eva Marie. Is that right?
Eva Marie. Yeah.
Eva. All right. I'll do the Eva. One of my best friends has a daughter, Ava. We can pronounce it Ava, so whatever. They're probably wrong.
Right.
So yeah, I have the Three Sticks 2018 Cuvée Eva Marie, which I know is Bill's wife's. That's named after Bill's wife, right? This is her wine, essentially.
So yeah, if you ever want to go into a tasting with a little bit of nerves, you go into a tasting with her and Bill and present that wine, that first blend, first time. That was always a fun one. So yes, it's great. It's named after her. It's from the One Sky Vineyard up on Sonoma Mountain. It's the highest vineyard in Sonoma Mountain. It's really cool climate right up above Vanderkamp there. And we farm it organically. Eva's, it was sort of the beginning of our organic viticulture. We started with that vineyard. We've moved on to a couple of other vineyards as well, and are sort of implementing those practices across all of our vineyards, sort of slowly as we make it through. And this Eva Marie, it's a vineyard designate wine, but it's a micro vineyard designate, if you will. It's really a barrel selection from that vineyard site. So we pulled together, all of our favorite barrels. It's just a few hundred cases, so it's a small bottling.
Nice.
And really trying to just highlight, really, Sonoma Mountain is such it kind of blows my mind when you look at, you're growing Cabernet just, maybe a half mile down the hill, but as you go up in elevation, it cools down a lot. You're starting to get into spots where sometimes it's even too cold for Pinot. It's at what I like to call it, sort of a confluence of all of the fog. You get fog from the south, you get fog from Petaluma Gap kind of wrapping around the corner. And so it's this just really magical spot. And the wine that comes off that, the fruit that comes off that, the wine that comes out of that vineyard is spectacular. And so what we're doing month, this is Women's History Month. We've decided to donate $10 of every bottle of this wine that we sell. It goes to a great cause. Every Mother Counts, which it's a nonprofit that's looking to improve access to maternal care. It's one of Eva's, really an organization she really follows and loves and wants to support. So it's something we're doing with Women's History Month, and so we get to kind of tie all those things together, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And everyone can get this bottle. It's not obviously not just for club members. You can get this bottle at 3sticks. Is it 3stickswines.com? Absolutely,
yeah. I think it's off of our profile. You can see it as well.
Yeah, I pulled it up. It's actually on there. You can get it right now.
Yeah, this is a wine that is decently allocated, but it's one that we've kind of opened up this month just to kind of promote this cause and promote getting people involved. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So obviously you're taking it to the boss's wife for the first tasting. I mean, were you just double checking your blending notes? You're like, all right, this is the blend. Okay. How nervous were you?
Well, we were there with Bob, and we were all just, it's one of the things that anytime you go into a restaurant and you don't know what wine menu, it's always a good thing if you see the name of their, wife or child, go ahead and pick that wine, because you can be pretty sure that it's going to be pretty good. So
that's a good little insider trick, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm starting to think of wine labels and proprietary names that are named after winemakers, the kids. I know Ryan Devlin has one, and you're right. It's pretty solid every time. I mean, his wine's great anyway, but that's awesome.
Yeah, it's one. Like obviously we work hard on all of our wines, but this, you gotta really think it through. You got through the style, what are we trying to put forth with this site. We get such nice, sort of an earthy, but with a nice earth spice fruit character that comes off it. We usually pick barrels that are a little bit less impactful. We like water bent barrels on this to really kind of add to the mouthfeel. Really force the toastiness home with it. So, and it's one that I think shows that profile nicely.
Yeah, it took like about 30 minutes and everything just started opening up like exponentially on it. Fruit's great. And yet those spice notes, those like baking spice notes that you mentioned, just dynamite. Really pronounced and really forward mid palate.
The site is spectacular too. It's built on the sort of steep slopes going up. Some real sort of volcanic iron rich soils up there. We've got one block of Chardonnay at the top. That's, we always have to kind of like Rochambeau for who go up and sample it, because it's super steep. It's a good workout.
Rochambeau, for those that don't know, that's rock, paper, scissors.
I just realized that actually. I had this conversation with the Midwesterner this week, our enologist, and we said we're going to Rochambeau for it. And she said, I don't know what that means. And
really? I always heard it from Chicago guys that were always saying Rochambeau. Interesting.
I had to look it up, and I found out it's a Northern California term. So
there you go.
But I'm Northern California born and bred, so I can't get it out of me either.
Right. Yeah, what I was going to say is that, it's interesting. I know you grew up, I mean, you're sort of winemaking, you fell in love with Sonoma County wines. I mean, that was what your foray into winemaking, or just as a career, correct? Like you just.
Yeah, I came at it as sort of a second career. I went to school back east at Cornell and took a wine appreciation course there. A hotel school puts on, and it's a pretty sweet class that we get to take. You see all the seniors walking around with their little lunch boxes of wine glasses, and kind of, I grew up in California, knew about wine country, but didn't really, I lived in Berkeley, so we didn't live in the heart of wine country by any means. And so, taking that class got a real good opportunity to taste wines from around the world, and just it fascinated me. So I sort of, for the next 10 years or so, just loved learning about wine, taking classes at Davis, decided to start making wine in my, second bathroom. My wife was not happy about that every harvest season, but then, after about 10 years of that, I said, let's move back to California. We were living in Colorado at the time, and I said, let's give this a shot. And I started with Bob out at Williams-Sellium. And
right out of the gate. Not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig. No, it was the, I wanted, it was a wine that I loved and sort of looked up to, and was able to get a spot there for the season, and stayed on for a little bit longer, through, almost a year actually. And kind of just worked my way up from there, and then had that great opportunity in 2015 to join Bob. We actually started right at the same time, same day, and have it's been a great ride.
So you've been Three Sticks.
Three Sticks, yeah.
Yeah.
2015, we both started up at the same time there.
That's awesome. Yeah, Bob's Zen-like ability to call a pick. When we were tasting the Adobe, he was like, everyone was panicking because there was a heat spike, and he just sat right back and just said, "We're all good." It's just like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. How he let the herd go crazy. We're gonna make our own decision on our own time. We're not gonna be pressured into this. We're gonna go on what we're tasting, what we're seeing, and what the bricks are, etc. So,
yeah.
I know it sounds like pretty plain. Most winemakers are doing that when they're calling the pick. But when the hype starts going among even the elite wineries like yourself, and the pickers, and trying to get the labor in and trying to get in line, the panic can really set in. And he was just like ice.
Yeah. He's done this a few times, and he knows, he's had that his whole career, where there's always people picking before and always people picking after. So
yeah,
you kind of know what you're looking for in the maturity of the grapes, and if they're not there, barring any sort of catastrophe that might come through that you can't avoid. If there's a big rainstorm or something, and it's, weather's not going to look up after that, then maybe you have to make some of those calls where you pick before you might want to. But if you can, if you can wait it out, and in some cases, if you got the right weather coming after, then don't worry.
Yeah. Well, clearly the picture that's now being painted is you're doing all the work and the background and getting all the grunt work, so Bob can be relaxed. That's clearly what's going on.
No, it's definitely a team effort on those, and come harvest time, it's out in the vineyard daily, kind of looking and checking and seeing where things are at, and if it's not ready, it's not ready. So you do what you can to wait for the wines to be, or the grapes to be picked at the right time. Because it's really, once that happens, then you've set the whole vintage in motion. Basically, you can go ahead and try to fix things in the cellar, but that pick decision is really first and foremost in what that year is going to look like for you.
Sure. So let's just go back and talk about this wine that is going to, let's see, $10 for every bottle of the Cuvée Eva Marie 3 Sticks 2018, which you can get at 3stickswines.com. $10 for each bottle during the month of March. So only a few days left to really do this. Is going to the Every Mother Counts. And you want to talk about what Every Mother Counts do for some of the people that have joined that haven't heard about it?
Yeah, so Eva Marie is Eva, Bill's wife, is a part of that organization, and really wants to help support it. It's dedicated to improving maternal care around the world. So I think it's fitting, and this is all sorts of maternal care. It's pre, post. So organization we really want to help support this month.
Yeah. And again, you can get the bottle now through the end of March. $10 is going to that great charity at 3stickswines.com. And so I know that that's off the it's the Sonoma Mountain AVA, but what's the vineyard?
It's the One Sky Vineyard.
The One Sky. And so I was just wondering about that. Is there some blocks up there that are above the fog line, or is it all?
It's actually much of the time above the fog line. We're at like 1,300 feet up there, so probably more days than not, it's above the fog line, and so you get that inversion layer. It's when you come in the morning and that fog is sat down below you, and it just looks like a sea of white below you. It's spectacular, I think that we're seeing cooler and cooler climates, obviously becoming more and more accessible as we see the temperatures going up around wine country. And so it's funny, there are spots that years ago you would look at and kind of be thought of as crazy for planting, and now those places are kind of coming right into their own. So and we see that kind of across the whole county, working more and more into southern Sebastopol, out even into Petaluma Gap, sort of the heart of the Gap, not even up on the mountains where Gap's crown is.
Wow. Yeah, it's changing, right? Things are changing. So obviously you coming from with Bob from William Celium, are you guys, clearly your footprint is Sonoma. I know it was Bill Price's vision to have a Sonoma focused winery and lead a premium winery, lead his Sonoma County vision. But are you guys playing around with any other fruit outside of the Sonoma, or?
We do. So we used to make a wine from Santa Rita Hills, and I love that area as well. That AVA is spectacular. We decided eventually, as we were going through, to really focus on our estate fruit, and our estate fruit was all up in Sonoma County. And I think, for now, that's really our focus, Sonoma County, Sonoma Coast. If I'm sure if as things continue on, there's always opportunity in some other reaches. But one thing that's important for us is to be able to be present and to be able to be around our vineyard enough.
Right.
As much as I loved doing the James, which is our Santa Rita Hills wine, it was always, it's tough to get down there during harvest. You're racing down, trying to check out the vineyards and do it during harvest. Do it during other times of the year might be easier, but really having the proximity to be able to stay on top of our vineyards, be able to stay on top of what's going on, is pretty important for us as well. So, until maybe if we get a helicopter or a plane, maybe then we can go a little bit farther afield. But for now we're Sonoma County, and we like that.
Come on, Bill. Let's get the helicopter on the regular. It's the only way to travel.
We have one vineyard, the Wallala Vineyard, which is all the way up in this far.
Yeah, I was going to ask about. Yeah, it sounds. I've never been there, so I want to check it out someday.
It's spectacular. It's surrounded by 19,000 acres of redwoods. It's kind of up by Sea Ranch, essentially. If folks know that area, it's right on the sort of border of Sonoma Coast or Sonoma County and Mendocino County, and sometimes I wish I had a helicopter to get up there. It's about a 2.5-hour drive from the winery. So just in one county, you can have a 2.5-hour drive within the bounds. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I just want to make sure that we hit and plug, and just checking out who new has joined. It's nice seeing everybody tune in, but just want to make sure that Every Mother Counts charity. Every time you buy a bottle during the month of March, which is Women's History Month, if you buy a 3 Sticks 2018 Cuvée Eva Marie, which you can go at 3stickswines.com. Someone had graciously put it in the chat, so you can just click on that. First of all, it's a dynamite wine. This is, it's drinkable right now, but it can definitely be laid down. Yeah, acidity and the tannins on the back are just, you can tell it's got some legs on it. Just a gorgeous wine, and you're going to help an amazing charity that helps with maternal care, both post and prenatal. So you guys get on this. Go to 36wines.com and buy it. And yeah, Ryan, what else should we talk about before we sign off here?
Well, I'll just, plug a little bit of our next month. We're moving into sustainability month for us, where we're going to highlight some of our efforts on sustainability. We've got some hikes going on out at Durrell Vineyard for
cool.
Folks who are interested in sort of learning firsthand. We'll have a couple of those. So if you're interested in those, check out our website, reach out. That'll be coming up next month. And like I said, we're sort of in our spring release right now. So Cuvée Eva Marie is a part of that, but we also have our AVA 2019 wines. And they're, it's great. I was talking the other day to someone about those two different vintages, and 2018 was a killer vintage. I think our wines across the board really were fantastic from that. We just had a nice, long, cool growing season. And then 2019 comes in and pretty much gives us the same thing. We had this just great, long, cool vintage. And I think we didn't pick out until after Labor Day in 2019. So.
Oh, wow.
Which used to be normal, but now is late for maybe the last decade or so.
Wow,
so
that's great.
Yeah, so check out our website if you want to check out our other wines as well. We've got a handful of those going up right now as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, so if you're in the Sonoma area and you want to go hike Durrell, that's a beautiful, beautiful spot. I highly recommend it. It's 3stickswines.com. You can get that Eva Marie the Cuvée Eva Marie there. Help support a charity during the month of March, and also maybe go hike Durrell. I want to be up in Sonoma next month, so I could go hike Durrell. Right on. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Ryan Pritchard, winemaker here at 3 Sticks. Thank you so much, and thanks again for being part of World of Pinot Noir. We love having you guys. Can't wait to work with you and have some drinks in person next year in Santa Barbara.
I love it. Can't wait.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Saturday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.